space, the final frontier. Who knows what's waiting for us out there? But here's the problem. To get out there, any brave future Star Trekkers need to wade through a ton of rubbish before they can even get out through the front door. Yes, our orbit, and indeed our solar system, is slowly filling up with human-made junk. So what's out there? Is it a problem? And what are we planning on doing about it? The furthest humans have managed to spread our stuff is almost 20 billion kilometers away at the time of recording this. That's how far Voyager 1 has traveled out into interstellar space, and it's still steaming away. Oh, and Voyager 2, a sister mission, isn't far behind. Of course, I wouldn't call the Voyager missions junk though. They're still transmitting information back to us for a start, and they're still valuable. Each holds a gold-plated copper record, complete with information about Earth, greetings in 55 different languages, and 90 minutes of Earth music. My favourite fact about the disc is either that it includes Chuck Berry's Johnny Be Good, or that the greeting in the Chinese Amoy language invites the friends of space over for a meal. We've sent a lot of other probes and rovers out into the solar system. Wikipedia has a pretty amazing list, which I'll link to in the comments. But although we won't be picking up any of those objects anytime soon, it's hard to see them as junk. Those things have done some great science. But one place humans have had a chance to personally junk up is the moon. We have left a surprising amount of stuff up there during our visits. In fact, it's thought that there is almost 400,000 pounds of it up there, over 180,000 kilograms of junk. What? Now, most of that is spacecraft wrecked or left behind, but there are also pieces like a gold olive branch, a small statue of a spaceman, and of course, bags of urine, and a defecation collection device. 2 golf balls are up there forever, along with an urn containing astrogeologist Eugene Shoemaker's ashes, and memorials to honour deceased astronauts. Closer to home, the levels of trash really step up. We have been putting satellites out into space since 1957, and the planet is now being circled by millions of pieces of orbital debris, bits that have broken off. So is there a danger from that stuff? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, most of these pieces are tiny, less than a centimetre in diameter, but think how fast things travel in orbit. We launch our satellites to heights of 100 kilometres, and we have to get them to orbital speed to get them to stay there. And orbital speed is pretty damn fast. The International Space Station, stuck up there in the upper atmosphere, is circling the entire Earth once every 90 minutes. Well, technically it's just constantly falling, but falling at the same rate as the curve of the Earth falls away from the satellite. That is literally rocket science. Anyway, the effect of a small stone hitting the windscreen of your car on the motorway can smash your strengthened glass. So imagine the effect even a 1 centimetre square piece of space junk would have hitting the hull of the ISS moving at over 17,000 miles per hour. There have been collisions in the past. In 1996, a French satellite was damaged by debris from, ironically enough, a French rocket that had exploded 10 years before. In 2009, a deactivated Russian satellite smashed into a working US Iridium commercial satellite. Needless to say, the Iridium satellite was not fully operational after the crash. Even more recently, in 2013, a Russian satellite was struck by debris originating in a Chinese anti-satellite missile test 6 years before. The tiny Russian satellite was hit by one of more than 3,000 pieces of debris created by China's test. And it's that huge escalation that's the problem. Each missile strike or collision creates more and more pieces of debris in orbit. And some fear that with enough stuff up there, one collision has the potential to kick off a runaway, self-reinforcing boom of accidental collisions. It's called the Kessler syndrome, and some people even think that we may have already passed that tipping point in some regions of orbit. So what can we do? Well, NASA and the US Department of Defense are currently tracking more than 500,000 pieces of debris as they orbit Earth. They work with control centres in Houston and Moscow to advise craft on debris avoidance manoeuvres, and have performed numerous such manoeuvres with the International Space Station over the last 10 years. In 2014 alone, the station moved 3 times. But rather than avoiding the trash, could we get rid of it? Well, the Swiss have developed a Pac-Man style satellite that will be deployed to literally grab another satellite that's about to become defunct and drag it down into the atmosphere, where they will both then burn up. And there are other projects in the works. Massive laser cannons that could disintegrate remaining bits of debris, or huge devices to create airfield blasts to send scrap metal out of orbit and back down towards Earth. Last year, NASA destroyed a model debris sat in a ground testing chamber to better understand how objects break up when hit. Well, to be honest, that sounds to me suspiciously like just creating more of a mess. But let's hope we can figure it out. Otherwise, we may find ourselves trapped in rubbish and boldly going nowhere.